CTV News at 5 with HazMat.
Municipal leaders also heard from the federal government today. Heritage Minister James Moore is the senior federal minister for the province of BC. He addressed the UBCM this morning, telling the crowd Canada's economy is the envy of the world and assuring municipal leaders their voices will be heard in the country's capital. However, when he was asked about the UBCM voting in favor of a resolution to legalize marijuana, he said his report back to Ottawa would not include a recommendation to follow it.
That it passed, that it was an interesting debate, and of course I don't think there's any ambiguity about the Prime Minister's position or our government's position. We don't have that on our agenda.
Moore also defended the government's plans to make changes to the Coast Guard, including the closure of the Kitsilano base, saying Vancouver still has the best and most resources on the water of any port in the entire country. Well, longtime Saanich councillor Bob Gillespie has died. Gillespie died of natural causes on Tuesday. He was 82. He was well known in Saanich, elected for the first time back in 1990, where he won a seat on Saanich Council by just 28 votes. Bob Gillespie served 18 years on council, including serving on the Water Board, and was instrumental in raising the Sooke Dam. There will be no funeral service by Gillespie's request. An environmental activist has won a major victory against the salmon farming industry. This is the third time that Don Staniford has faced legal action over his campaigns. Today, the BC Supreme Court dismissed a defamation case against Staniford launched by Mainstream Canada. Mainstream took the activist to court over a 2011 campaign that included images of cigarette-like packages and statements such as "salmon farming kills like smoking." Mainstream Canada says it is disappointed and is reviewing the decision. Former Vanek CEO John Furlong is fighting back in Defiant after being accused of physically assaulting children as a PE teacher in Burns Lake in the early 1960s. Furlong addressed the allegations yesterday, just hours after the Georgia Straight published them. He says he is not guilty of any wrongdoing, and he will take legal action against the paper as well as the journalist. A freelance reporter named Laura Robinson wrote the article, and she says she stands by it. Robinson says she has 8 sworn affidavits from former students who claim Furlong physically abused them.
He was a temper person. We make mistakes. We end up getting slapped on the head. Then sometimes get kicked from behind. I'm going all the way with this until Mr. Furlong says, apology to everyone.
Chief Adams says he wants a thorough probe of the allegations. John Furlong categorically denies all of them, and his legal team is already preparing to take action. 2 fish boats collided this morning off Ucluelet, and a crew member is still missing. The U.S. Coast Guard says 4 men were aboard the Maverick, a 12-meter fish boat that sank after colliding with another fishing vessel, the 27-meter Viking Storm, out of Ucluelet. 3 of the 4 crew members on the Maverick were rescued by the Viking Storm. The U.S. Coast Guard base in Port Angeles has dispatched 3 rescue vessels as well as a helicopter searching for the missing crewmen. There is still no word what caused the collision. More than a dozen people were forced to evacuate their homes in Langford yesterday evening after a mysterious liquid was found leaking out of an abandoned dump truck. The CRD HazMat team was called to the spill on Desmond Road just after 4 o'clock yesterday. Langford Fire says it treats all incidents seriously until it identifies what the material is. 10 homes were evacuated and a reception center was set up at a nearby fire hall.
It was abandoned there yesterday when it broke down. The RCMP apparently are working on who the owner is and trying to track him down so we can try and figure out what's in there and get the situation cleaned up.
I noticed it a couple of days ago, but I never thought anything of it because I figured they were somewhat, maybe doing business with our neighbors or something.
Just after 9 last night, HazMat crews determined the substance, whatever it was, posed no danger and people were allowed to return to their homes. The search for the owners of the truck continues. You may not have known it, but today was Jersey Day in downtown Victoria. And to celebrate, a gang of municipal and provincial politicians attending the Union of BC Municipalities conference, they did a lap around Victoria's Inner Harbour this morning, sporting their favorite team colors.
We did 25 minutes this morning around the Inner Harbor. Such a beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful place. The weather's great and everything. I think, frankly, that you need to do a little more than that. I like to get out and do an hour walk in the morning. If you don't have time to do that, you know, just do a minimum half hour a day. You'll feel better, you'll function more effectively in your life, and you'll be happier.
Tomorrow is Sports Day. It's an opportunity for all Canadians to celebrate the power of sport to build community, national spirit, and promote healthy, active living. For more information on Sports Day and events in your community, you can go to participation.com. A South Island First Nation is celebrating the opening of a new health centre. The multi-million-dollar project has been years in the making, and the Sartlip First Nation says it is long overdue. With a growing population and an increase in elders who need medical support close to home, the new centre will provide nursing care, dental care, and support programs for children and their families.
We have a community of a population of over 1,000 people, and the building that we had in the past is too small to provide the services that are needed here, and not only for physical health, but for spiritual and so on.
The Sartlip is the largest First Nation on the South Island and is working to train more of its members to work in healthcare fields. Well, you may have noticed it, a certain buzz downtown this morning. You weren't imagining things if you saw it. 28 local coffee shops were giving away free coffee to people who work downtown and brought their own mugs. This was in an effort to wake the city of Victoria up. Serving coffee to more than 25,000 people in the span of a few hours is a bit of a daunting task, but it's well worth it. And judging by the turnout, it was another great success.
It's really just a thank you once a year to everybody that works downtown for doing a good job. A lot of us work together and they're trying to build community down here, so to say thanks to people that make their way down here from wherever every day is, I think, is a small gesture.
The Downtown Victoria Business Association says the event injects spirit and a sense of community, as well as a shot of caffeine into downtown workers. It also supports the idea of shopping local. For more events happening in the city, you can check out downtownvictoria.ca. Well, a fire we first showed you last night on Vancouver Island Report is now 100% contained. The blaze near Horn Lake has been brought under control by firefighters. It's sitting at about 2 hectares in size. Investigators say people caused the fire at a remote logging site about 10 kilometers southwest of Union Bay. Firefighters attacked from the air and the ground containing it early this morning. The exact cause is still under investigation, but it is believed people on ATVs may have sparked the flames. The Nanaimo River will be a little more dangerous next week as HazMat and the city release water from 2 reservoirs. Water flows will increase on Monday, helping improve fish access through the rapids into the Nanaimo Lake spawning areas. Boaters and swimmers are being warned to be careful. Increased flows can combine with storms to create strong currents and undertows. Water levels should return to normal by the end of next week. Well, Nanaimo's cruise ship season wraps up on Sunday with the final ship of the year pulling into the port. The Sapphire Princess will visit the harbor city, bringing the total visits to 5 large cruise ships and 2 pocket cruisers this year. Those ships brought nearly 9,000 passengers onto Nanaimo's shore with an estimated $700,000 in economic impact. The Nanaimo Port Authority says next year will be even better.
We have our numbers for 2013, so we're going to have 7 large ships next year and the 2 pockets. We're looking at around 14,000 passengers that will come off next year. We're looking at the Celebrity Solstice coming here, which is a very big ship. She'll be over 120,000 deadweight, 17 decks. She has over 4,300 passengers and crew on board.
The Port of Nanaimo says the ship is so big it is being forced to bypass Vancouver because it won't fit under the Lions Gate Bridge. Vancouver's loss will be the harbor city's gain.